Alright, you already know who I am. I'm your guy Insomniac, but this is the original Insomniac, Rob Sr. Yes, we're related, that's my father. And this is the first official episode of a new segment that I'm calling Shooting the Shit.
I like chatting with Pops better.
Chatting with Pops was actually his idea for the title. I made it Shooting the Shit.
How about you guys tell us?
Alright, well yeah, there you go. If you like chatting with Pops better than shooting the shit, let me know. Start leaving it in the comments down below. Vote on that. But speaking of you telling us, we picked a topic for today, and we'll get to that in a minute. But what we're going to do from there forward is, if you are one of my patrons, you get to pick the topics from now on. So you guys, if you're on the patron page, I will ask weekly what topic you want us to discuss, and we will go for it. Now, you all know that my channel is coffee, cigars, watches, stuff like that. We might discuss something like that from time to time, but really pretty much any topics go. Short of the hot button topics, we're not talking about religion, and we're not talking about, what's that other one?
Yeah, politics.
Oh, politics. Oh, and we're not doing sex talks either, because I'm related to this guy. That's weird, so we're not doing that neither. So other than that, you can suggest almost anything, and if we know anything about it at all, we will discuss that. Now, part of what's going to make this interesting is we are two different generations, two different perspectives, and almost always two different opinions, which is why today we're going to start with one that I know we have a different opinion on, which is drinking, which is why I brought a beer to the segment. So let's dive right into that one.
Yeah, let's dive into that one. Well, what do you have to say about it? I know drinking has ruined a lot of people's lives. I mean, if you can casually drink, but if you have a problem, it destroys everything.
That's true. I think, but where me and you differ, every time I would go past, a drink and a half, I'd get to talk about alcoholism and becoming an alcoholic. So, I mean, I think the difference with us is where the line is. Like, one shot is where you seem to draw the line, as where, still standing up is where I draw the line, because I don't really want to be falling down drunk. But, I don't know, I mean, how many drinks is too many drinks?
Like I said, if you're a casual drinker and you could have a few beers, a shot, and that's it. That's the end. It's good. A few beers or a shot, or a few beers and a shot? Either way.
I guess it depends on the person.
Alcohol, when you have a problem with it, ruins lives, families. It's devastating.
Well, I mean, clearly I drink, and you've all seen me drink whiskey on the channel. What do you drink? Do you drink it all?
I don't drink it all.
Alright, he doesn't drink it all. Although, I mean, whiskey's good for you. If you think he should start drinking a bit, leave that in the comments. Tell Senior to start having a drink now and then. I don't think there's anything wrong with a drink in moderation. Now, alcoholism. Actual alcoholism. Disease or a choice?
Well, some of my friends may see this and be surprised. I really feel that it's your choice. I really have a problem with the disease concept. Although it is deemed a disease, I don't see it. People need to learn to help themselves. I know, they're sick and they have compulsions, but there's help. That's where I get caught between the disease and the choice to help yourself.
Well, here's how I kind of feel about it. And we discussed this recently, except in the terms of drug addiction rather than alcoholism. I feel like being an alcoholic and alcoholism, it's not a disease, it's a choice at first. Then once you're fucked, once you're over that hill, then it's like a disease, because, I mean, without extensive, programs and prayer and miracles and the whole nine, I mean, you're not shaking it. So I feel like it's not a disease in the sense that, like, nobody chooses to get cancer, but you wind up with it, and that's terrible. Something like alcoholism or drug addiction, but I guess we'll stick to alcoholism being that's the topic. You don't catch that. You started with some bad choices, and then it became that. So to me, it's like a two-part answer. Not a disease, and then it does become one. Well, if you let it get out of control.
They feel that it's genetic. I believe it is generational.
But would that be actually genetic, do you think, or would it be more or less?
Well, they've claimed to.
Would it be more or less environmental? Like, if you grow up in a household where somebody in the house is an alcoholic, can that be kind of like a rubbed-off learned behavior, or is it actually genetic, like it's born into you?
They say they've proven it's genetic, as far as I know. I don't know.
I'm not a scientist. I don't.
I just know that it's a devastating disease. One alcoholic will mess up the lives of much more than 3 or 4. I think it's something like 3 or 4. But one alcoholic can mess up the lives of a dozen people easily.
And worse off, drunk drivers.
Well,
they get to ruin other people's lives that aren't even related to them.
Yeah.
And I have a very specific, thought on drunk driving.
Well, drunk driving, I'm totally against. And I think the penalty should be much stricter than they are.
I think the penalty literally should be if you get in an accident with somebody and the other person dies, because the drunk never seems to die, it's always the other person. The cops should just show up and shoot you in the fucking head. That's the end of it. That's the whole thing. That's what I think. They're never going to pass that law, but that's what I think. Now, see, I like to drink occasionally, and when I used to go drinking, we live right near New York City, so I would take the train. And even if I'm local and I have my car and I'm drinking, I've had you guys pick me up,
right.
And I left my car there. You don't get in the fucking car if you had more than a couple of drinks. You just don't. But a lot of people think that that's one of their skills. They're like super drunk driver, man.
Well, I mean, my children, and I thank God for that, you and your brother and sister have called when they drink, and you just don't drink and drive. However, I don't
drink and sit.
Right. However, I don't believe you guys, thank God, are alcoholics, because it's a horrible disease. But and I use the word disease there because that's exactly how they deem it. I definitely have a struggle with that part. I believe you do make a bad choice. Saying your mother was an alcoholic, as I know some folks know, and then start drinking, and then you're off the rails. Then you are sick, and
then it's a disease.
It's a disease. You're sick. So and it's sad. It's devastating. It really is.
So what's your favorite drinking game?
Never played a drinking game. Just passed.
What do you mean never?
When I was young, I don't drink now. I've been drinking so many years I don't even know anymore. Probably as long as you're alive.
His birthday's coming, so we're gonna have to get him. We're gonna have to get him drinking.
But we didn't play drinking games. We passed the bottle of vodka. That's what we did, and that was that. Or we drank too much beer. But I don't drink anymore. I've seen the devastation, and it affected my life and affected a lot of people I love's lives. So that's my take on this whole thing.
All right, so that was kind of like a little ease into the segment, and as you see here, two different perspectives. And as you see here, wow, this is drinking. And as you see here, two different perspectives, two different opinions, and this was a pretty general topic. We figured we'd start with something simple just to get this rolling. You guys get to pick the next topics. So, if you are a patron, you get to leave it on the patron page. I will ask the question soon, so you can fill in the blanks. If you're not a patron, the link should be right at the top of the video description down below. Sign up, and then you get to participate in this. Also, just so you know, patrons get this new segment every single week. For the rest of you, you're only going to get this once a month, which is kind of just to let a little bit out there. So, you're not a patron, so you might only get to see yourself once. No, I'll let you see the episodes.
Well, I'll end this episode with this: fuck alcoholism.
All right, but no, don't fuck beer. Beer's good. All right. Roll the credits.